Mr. Harrington, you talked a lot about fiscal responsibility, and we understand that we are in tight times. We're facing a approximate $10 million deficit. I have questions about your judgment on two issues around finances. Number one, the Commonwealth recently distributed about $76 million through the Massachusetts Opportunity Relocation and Expansion Act, or it's a program, and allowed for infrastructure improvements in the city, new roads, parks. We have a serious issue with our sewer plant needing to be upgraded, and that money could have been used into that investment. I'm looking at the program, and I see that Revere received $10 million from the Commonwealth through this program. Marlborough received $10 million. Little Chicopee received $1.8 million. Brockton received nothing. And so I'm curious as to how a city with the kinds of needs that we have would receive, either we didn't apply for the grant or we submitted a grant that was not adequate. The second part of that question, because that's about bringing in new revenue, the second part is about how do you justify the taxpayer, what you've done with some of the recent agreements with workers in terms of raises, which many of the workers that I spoke to believe that they're incredibly generous. I'd like you to tell us how much money you've invested in these agreements or locked the city into over the coming years when we're facing a $10 million deficit. Again, I've been told that this is hush money to gain the support of city workers in the city.
2 minutes, candidate Harrington.
Yes. First of all, we did apply for some of that money. We didn't get any of that particular grant. We did receive other grants for the sewer plant.
I'm asking about this particular grant.
We didn't receive any money. We applied.
Is there a reason why? I'm a little baffled why other towns could receive. Was there feedback from
the rules of engagement are he gets 2 minutes to answer, and then we'll just keep it rolling.
So we have applied for the grants. We applied for every grant. We did not receive any of that grant. I don't know the particular reason at this particular time. I have negotiated contracts with most of the city's unions. As a requirement by law, you have to bargain with them in good faith. If they think they're generous, then we did a very good job. What we did do during the negotiations is we bought back a tremendous amount of management's rights. We got them to agree to pay higher amounts of health insurance. We got them to agree to, in particular, the police department. We got them to agree to light duty, which means we don't have to keep somebody out on pay all for 10 years. He broke his finger, then we bring him back to work. So in the process, and I don't expect you to understand this because you've never done it, but in the process of negotiations, it's give and take. We gave them, they took. And I find this whole conversation kind of surprising coming from the guy who's going around telling everybody he thinks Brockton teachers should be the highest paid in the state. And their contract is just about to come up. I would like to know if you were mayor, you were going to handle that. After you told them they should be the highest in the state, I'm sure they look forward to seeing you. But those are the things that you do as a mayor. You negotiate in good faith. We have people that do negotiation, attorneys. I make the final decision. And I made the decisions I think were fair and equitable in the best interest of the city. It seems to me that one of your key pieces of your crime-fighting plan is this thing that you say over and over again about arresting the 65 most people that are repeat offenders, and they create 20% of the job. I'd like to just take a minute to read something. Because I don't think you're far off the track on that. But I just want to read something to you. This is a roll call, which is what the police chief sends to the men to tell them what's going on. This is an order that they need to follow. So the City of Brockton, the Brockton Police Department, recipients of grant funds to target our prevention, intervention, and suppression activities on gangs and gang-related populations. Specifically, the police department has been busy identifying top gang players, reducing a list of 180 known individuals to a number that we can have an impact on in this short period of time. This task is completed, and there is now a list of the top 40 individuals identified by members of the Brockton Law Enforcement Task Force, including the personnel from the Department of DA, from our department, the DA's office, the adult probation, the juvenile probation, parole, DYS, as well as the Sheriff's Department. This task force meets every 2 weeks to update information on the top 40, develop suppression strategies, and will identify additional numbers to target throughout the year. While many of these individuals are currently with either adult probation or DYS, there are still quite a few who are simply out on the street with no supervision. A new 3-ring binder has been placed in the report room. This information is only on the top 40, but the remaining 140, the binder includes 2 pages. It goes on to talk about that there are other people that need other services out there. And part of the Shannon Grant suppression activities, overtime is offered for ride-alongs. Talks about offering other services to them and all that. But this is pretty much, I would agree, is what you were talking about. That you would put together a program to follow those people. The date of this roll call is November 27, 2006. So based on that information that we're already doing that, what else would you do to prevent crime in the city of Brockton?
Well, first of all, this is an example of flip-flopping. Your initial response or reaction to my comment was, Mr. Stewart doesn't have the experience, he doesn't know what he's doing, that those 65 individuals don't exist, that's old data, that's 10-year-old data, that I don't know what he's talking about. And so clearly you've done some homework since the last debate, and that's appreciated. What I've said and committed to doing is making certain that those core repeat offenders in our city, that we continue to go after them, that we continue to work with the probation officers and the judges, if possible with the judges, the police chiefs, to make sure we keep an active list of those core offenders who are committing a majority of the crime. I even think the mayor's comment was, why go after the 65 if they're only committing 20% of the crime? We want to get rid of all the crime. So again, I think you've been incredibly disingenuous about what's happening in the city, or out of touch. That approach to crime fighting isn't that novel, that most large cities have a core group of individuals who are committing a significant amount of crime. So I'm glad to know that we're in agreement on that. But what else will I do? I think we have a big snitching problem when it comes to crime, because it's very difficult to put criminals away when there are no witnesses. People may remember the Jose Gurley case, where this incredible kid by all accounts was simply at a party and was killed. And there were 100 kids at that party, no witnesses. And so we need to mount a really aggressive campaign. We've done it with drinking and driving and other offenses that gets the message across to our kids that turning someone in for doing a heinous act is a snitching, it's called justice. And we need to do that by making certain we have more police on the street in the community, so you build relationships and there's trust. We also need to do some reform efforts with protecting witnesses, because no one is going to sacrifice their safety if they're not being protected. I've heard stories of witnesses and the accused being in the same elevator at the courthouse. So there needs to be some really strong reform effort in the area. Clearly the mayor can't directly change those efforts, but you can act as a strong advocate for it. Secondly, let's look at, so he asked me, okay.